We should take a little trip.
That does sound kind of nice. Is there another car here?
Ready or not now, but we'll be two.
Max?
They're gone.
Who is this woman? What's he see in her?
So you want to call her?
No, I need to find her. Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad to see you.
What is this? God, he left me.
Our story starts deep in the woods, where a small cabin sits near an old shipping container. Kat and Max are driving through the countryside, heading there for a weekend getaway. They arrive after dark and notice another car already parked outside. When they pull up, a man named Al opens the cabin door. Max tries to explain that they booked the place for the weekend, but it turns out the cabin has been double booked. There's no phone signal, so they can't call the owner. Max tells Al that Kat is exhausted and he can't drive anymore, but Al still refuses to let them stay. Suddenly, a girl named Greta appears behind him and ends up inviting them in. Kat is annoyed and thinks Max always rushes into things, especially with younger women, but she eventually agrees to stay. Inside, Max browses old vinyls while Kat and Greta grab their bags. Greta casually tells Kat that she and Al aren't dating. They're just friends with benefits. She also finds out Kat and Max are married, though they claim they're just seeing how things go. Max finds a vintage board game called Pillow Talkers, a couples game. Al suggests they all play together, even though he doesn't seem very excited about it. During the game, Kat reveals she used to be Max's teacher. Things get awkward when Greta is dared to lick Max's elbow. Kat decides she's had enough and goes to bed while the others continue. The next morning, Kat wakes up fully dressed and alone. Max is gone. The cabin is empty. She wanders the woods calling his name until she finds Al sitting on a stump with his head in his hands. He tells her they're gone. He claims he caught Greta and Max messing around, and they just laughed and ran off together. In shock, Kat returns to the cabin alone. Back at home, Kat talks to a friend who suggests she should try finding out who Greta really is. Kat pretends she doesn't care, but later, she opens her laptop and tries searching for her anyway. After failing to find anything on Greta, she searches for the cabin owner instead. She finds a number and calls, asking for Greta's contact info, claiming she needs to return a book. The owner refuses to share details, but agrees to meet her at her shop the next day. When the cabin owner arrives, Kat pretends to look for the book, but eventually admits she lied. She apologizes and takes him out for coffee. While they're talking, a man walks in and recognizes the owner as Nick Barlow. He says they used to work together on a biotech startup before Nick suddenly left. The man asks what Nick is doing now and even tries offering him a job at his men's cosmetics company. Nick abruptly leaves, so the man tries pitching the idea to Kat instead. Flashback. Kat is hosting a dinner party with friends, one of them being Max. He doesn't fit in with her crowd, so he steps out to pick up more wine. At the store, he runs into Greta and Al arguing. Greta finds Max interesting and invites him to go drink with them. They hang out, get to know each other, and she asks him to come to a show the next day. When Max accidentally cuts his hand on glass, Greta warns him about infection and helps clean the wound. They agree to meet at the cabin in the woods the next night before heading to the show the following morning. Back in the present, Kat calls Nick again, insisting she needs to find Greta. She asks for an address, and Nick agrees to help her stake Greta out. They sit in the car in makeshift disguises. Nick opens up about why he left his biotech company. His father died painfully after his nervous system shut down, and watching it destroyed him. Seeing young people casually messing around at work the next day made him realize he had to walk away for good. Suddenly, Greta appears outside. Kat and Nick follow her into a building. Kat confronts her, and Greta ends her call. Kat asks where Max is. Greta apologizes, saying she just can't let Max go because of how he looks at her. When Greta drops her phone, Kat sees the lock screen. It's a photo of Greta with Max. Greta apologizes again and walks away. Kat returns to Nick, and they head back to the car. Nick quietly confesses that his wife left him years ago. Later, Kat and Nick are talking at a football stadium. She asks if he has the same genetic condition his father had. Nick says he's working on a treatment for it. Flashback. Max returns to Kat 2 hours after disappearing. She's upset, but he apologizes and suggests they take a trip together. He invites her to the cabin in the woods the next day, and she agrees. The next day, Greta and Al are waiting in the cabin for Max. Al worries Max might not show up, but Greta insists he will. When Max arrives, Greta tells Al to be polite, but when they see Kat in the car with him, Al instantly wants to call the whole thing off. Max introduces Kat as his girlfriend and lies, pretending he rented the cabin himself. Greta listens from inside and steps out to calm things down. The next morning, after Kat leaves, Al tells Greta she's gone and joins her outside by a large barrel. They haul the barrel inside. Al is nervous that Kat might return, but Greta isn't bothered. While looking through paperwork, Greta finds a letter inside an envelope that clearly unsettles her. Then they hear the door open. Back in the present, Kat returns to the cabin to meet Nick. She brings him an avocado tree as a thank you and apology for dragging him into this mess. Nick steps outside to get firewood. While he's gone, Kat looks around the cabin and finds a photo of Nick with Al inside a book. She realizes Al is Nick's son. Flashback again, Nick shows up at the cabin. Al asks how he's feeling. Nick says the treatment works in theory, but needs more testing. Then Al reveals Max is inside the barrel. Nick is horrified they kidnapped him. Greta tells Nick that Max is a perfect match biologically. She checked his blood herself. She even takes a selfie with Max, which she later uses as her screensaver. Present timeline, Nick meets Greta and Al outside. They confess they stayed hidden inside when Kat arrived. Nick reassures them Kat still doesn't know anything. Greta panics when she learns Nick left Kat inside alone, and she rushes back in, but Kat is gone. Kat is outside searching the woods when she comes across the shipping container. She opens it. Inside is medical equipment. The lights click on, revealing Max lying in a hospital bed hooked up to a transfusion machine. She runs to him, but Max tells her to leave. As she tries to free him, Nick enters and warns her pulling the tubes will kill him. Nick explains Max is producing proteins that Nick needs to survive. They now share a blood supply. Kat is furious that Nick let her think Max abandoned her. Nick insists he didn't want it to happen this way, but after watching his father die, he had to find another solution, for himself and for his son. Greta then reveals she found the letter with Nick's medical test results, and they were negative. Nick isn't trying to cure a disease at all. He's trying to stop aging. Al is horrified, but Nick insists this is the only way he can make up for the lost years since he divorced Al's mother. Greta supports Nick, hoping his success means she'll never end up like Kat. Greta shuts the door. They can't let Kat leave now that she knows the truth. Kat suddenly claims she wants the treatment too, admitting she feels time slipping away. She used Max to feel young again, just like Nick is using him, except Nick's method actually works. Nick tells her it doesn't work like that. The pairing only works between him and Max. Kat says she doesn't want Max's blood. She wants Greta's. Greta laughs, but Nick sides with Kat. They sedate Greta. While they prepare for the transfer, Kat lifts Max up and helps him toward the door. Nick panics, demanding she stop. Max suddenly wakes up, rips the tubes out, and starts bleeding out. As Nick scrambles to save him, he admits that he's only scared. Kat replies, "We're all scared," and escapes the container, locking it behind her. She returns to her car and studies her reflection, the wrinkles beneath her eyes. She steps back out, calm, and walks toward the cabin. Inside, she stares silently out the window at the peaceful countryside.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.